The capital of the United States is Washington, D.C. The capital of Germany is Berlin. The capital of China is Beijing. The capital of Canada is not Toronto. The capital of Bolivia is La Paz. And the capital of Bolivia is Sucre. Wait, hang on a second. Capital cities are something pretty much every country has, and they are important to the functioning of a proper country in today's world, as they allow for a much more centralized form of government, which makes it quite a bit easier if you're governing all of France, let alone you're governing a third of your entire continent. However, not every country in the world has enshrined a particular city as capital in its constitution, and their government simply meets up in one place. And with countries with governments as varied as those of Canada, Saudi Arabia, North Korea, Switzerland, and Thailand, capital cities themselves are often going to work in very different ways. There are numerous examples of countries with multiple capitals, the most notable being South Africa. South Africa is famously the only country with 3 capital cities, as already mentioned in my city-states video: Cape Town, Pretoria, and Bloemfontein. Now, with their 11 official languages, numerous people groups who never get along with each other, and an anthem sung in 4 languages, it's pretty easy to see why they would go for something like this. But how do they make it work? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Cape Town houses those working for the legislative branch of the government, and Bloemfontein the judicial stuff, while Pretoria, located just north of Joburg, handles all the administrative and executive stuff, as the most powerful of the 3 cities. Another notable example is the aforementioned Bolivia, where La Paz is the seat of the national executive, legislative, and electoral bodies, whereas Sucre is marked as the official capital in the Bolivian constitution. Malaysia's official and royal capital is the world-famous Kuala Lumpur, with the Petronas Towers and all. But their administrative center and the seat of the national judiciary are in Putrajaya. Sri Lanka's administrative capital and the seat of their national legislature are both in the city of Sri Jayawardena Kotte, while the national executive and judicial bodies are seated in the commercial capital, Colombo. Côte d'Ivoire, too cool for a translatable name, says its capital is officially Yamoussoukro, while the de facto seat of government is actually Abidjan, and on it goes. There is also another, less savory reason for a country to have 2 capitals: war. This happens whenever a country's government claims rightful ownership over one city as its capital, but due to an occupation there, simply meets another city for the convenience of having a meeting in which no one dies. There are 2 main examples of this, those of Yemen and the state of Palestine. Yemen's official capital is Sana'a, but since being taken over by Houthi rebels, the remnants of the Yemeni government now meet in nearby Aden. Palestine has claimed its capital as Jerusalem, but due to problems with Israel, in practice, their government meets in nearby Ramallah. In pleasing symmetry, most countries place their Israeli embassies in Tel Aviv, while Israel also claims Jerusalem as its capital. Now, let's look at history, as many notable countries have had multiple capitals at once. Now, sure, you probably already know that Iran has had a lot of capitals, more than any other civilization, but in this case, they don't really count, because of how time works. No, I mean at one time, of which 2 good examples suddenly pop up: early America and the late Roman Empire. Before Washington, D.C. was established, the Continental Congress met in many different locations, mainly Philadelphia, but also in cities like New York, Baltimore, and Annapolis. Additionally, in the later days of the Western Roman Empire, in the 4th and 5th centuries, many emperors deliberately split the country into 2 pieces, so that it could be governed easier, with Constantinople becoming the capital of the eastern half most of the time, even when the western capital was moved to Ravenna. So that's basically how it all works when a country has multiple capital cities. Sometimes it's for different branches of the government, sometimes the president just prefers to live somewhere else, sometimes the government claims the capital but can't actually get there to meet up, sometimes it rotates between different cities, and sometimes it's because the country is kind of more like 2 countries. Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it and or found it entertaining, please be sure to give it a like and share it so others can see it. There are actually quite a few countries with multiple capitals, but I didn't have time to name them all, so if you want, please feel free to further enlighten us in the comments. Also, please subscribe so you can learn something new every Sunday. And actually, next week's video is coming on Saturday, so just be prepared for that.